Can I ask you a question? A real, honest question between gardeners? When you look out your window right now, today, November 29th, what do you see? Do you see a garden that's finished? Do you see brown stalks, dead leaves, and a closed for the season sign hanging over your raised beds? If you're nodding your head, I get it. That's what we've been trained to see. We've been told that when the frost hits, the game is over. We've been told that fresh food belongs to July, not December. But what if I told you that was a lie? What if I told you that right now, while everyone else is fighting crowds at the grocery store for limp lettuce that traveled 2,000 miles on a truck, you could be stepping out your back door and picking the sweetest, crunchiest vegetables of the entire year? I'm serious. Have you ever bitten into a carrot that has been frozen solid in the ground? Have you ever tasted spinach that has fought off an ice storm? If you haven't, you are missing out on the best secret in gardening. Today, we aren't just talking about plants. We are talking about survivors. We are talking about the 5 ice-proof vegetables that don't just survive the cold. They actually need it. They crave it. And once you taste them, you might never want a summer tomato again. So, top off your coffee, pull up a chair, and let's talk about the magic of the winter garden. Because I have a feeling that by the end of this video, you're going to look at that frost on the ground very differently. Before we get to the list, I need to ask you something. Do you know why winter vegetables taste better? It's not just your imagination, it's chemistry. But it's the most delicious chemistry in the world. Think about it. What happens to water when it freezes? It expands, right? And if a plant is full of water and it freezes, the cells burst. The plant turns to mush. That's what happens to your basil. That's what happens to your peppers. They die because they are full of plain water. But these 5 vegetables we are about to discuss, they are smarter than that. When the temperature drops, they start a survival mechanism. They convert their stored starches into sugars. Why sugar? Because sugary water freezes at a much lower temperature than plain water. Think about a bottle of vodka in the freezer versus a bottle of water. The alcohol, and in plants, the sugar, acts as a natural anti-freeze. So, when you eat a carrot in July, it's mostly starch and water. It's okay. But when you eat a carrot in November or December, you are eating a vegetable that has literally turned itself into candy to survive. It is sweeter, crisper, and more flavorful than anything money can buy. Let's start with the classic, spinach. Now be honest with me. When you buy spinach at the store in a plastic clamshell box, what does it taste like? Kind of metallic? A little bit like wet paper? Maybe a little bitter? That is spinach that was grown fast, in heat, and gassed to stay green. It's boring. But have you ever grown winter bloomsdale or giant winter spinach? This is a plant that laughs at frost. In fact, if you walk out to your garden on a morning when it's 20 degrees Fahrenheit, your spinach will look like flat, frozen green glass. It looks dead. You touch it, and it feels like a potato chip. But here is the trick, and I want you to try this. Don't touch it yet. Wait for the sun to hit it. By noon, that spinach thaws out. It stands back up. And because it went through that freezing process, the leaves become incredibly thick. They develop a texture like succulent velvet. And the flavor? It loses all that bitterness. It becomes as sweet corn. Why are we buying baby spinach in bags that rot in 2 days when we could have a patch of this growing under a simple row cover? Spinach is a machine. If you plant it in September or October, you harvest it now. If you plant it now under cover, you harvest it in February. It is the vegetable that never quits. Can you imagine making a salad in January with leaves you picked 5 minutes ago? That is a luxury that millionaires can't buy, but gardeners can grow. Okay, I can feel some of you rolling your eyes. Sam, please, not kale. I'm tired of kale. I hear you. Kale had a big marketing moment about 10 years ago, and we all got sick of it. We got sick of chewing on tough, fibrous leaves that tasted like lawn clippings. But let me ask you, have you ever eaten frost-kissed kale? There is a variety called Vates, or winterbore, or the beautiful lacinato. In the summer, kale is tough. It has to be tough to keep the bugs away and hold water. But in November, in December, the cold breaks down those tough cell walls. The plant stops making the bitter sulfur compounds and starts pumping out that sugar antifreeze we talked about. Go out to the garden right now. Find a kale plant that has been hit by frost 3 or 4 times. Snap a leaf off. You'll hear it. Snap. It's crisp. Chop that up and saute it with a little bacon and onion. It melts in your mouth. It's not health food anymore. It's comfort food. We have been marketed the wrong version of kale. The supermarket sells us summer kale in the winter. That's backwards. Kale was designed by nature to be eaten now. Do you have a spot in your garden that is empty right now? Next year, promise me you'll put 3 kale plants there in August. Just 3. They will stand like soldiers in the snow, waiting for you to get hungry. Now, let's try something you might not have in your garden yet. Have you ever heard of mache? Or maybe you know it as corn salad or lamb's lettuce. If you haven't, you are in for a treat. This is the secret weapon of high-end French restaurants. Mache is a tiny little rosette of spoon-shaped leaves. It grows low to the ground. And here is the crazy thing. Mache is practically unkillable by cold. It can survive temperatures down to roughly -5 degrees Fahrenheit without protection. It's incredible. In the original fairy tale, Rapunzel's mother was craving a specific green from the witch's garden. Do you know what it was? It wasn't lettuce. It was mache. She risked her child for this salad. That's how good it is. It has a nutty, floral flavor. It dissolves in your mouth like butter. And the best part, it only grows in the cool seasons. If you try to grow this in July, it dies. It hates the sun. It loves the grey, dark days of November. Do you have a corner of a raised bed that is sitting empty? Or a pot on your patio? You can still sprinkle seeds for this in many zones. Or just remember it for next fall. It is the ultimate set it and forget it crop. It wants nothing from you. No fertilizer, no weeding. Just cool air and damp soil. Now, this next one is my absolute favorite: carrots. We are conditioned to think that when a vegetable is ripe, we must harvest it immediately or it will rot. Get it out of the ground, hurry! But with carrots, the ground isn't a grave. It's a root cellar. If you have carrots in your garden right now, November 29th, do not pull them all out. Stop. Leave them there. I want you to try an experiment. Take some straw or some shredded leaves and pile it on top of your carrot bed, maybe 6 inches deep. Now, walk away. Go enjoy your holidays. In January, or even February, when the ground is hard and there is nothing green in sight, go out to that bed. Push aside the snow, push aside the straw, dig into the soil, pull out a carrot. It will be cold. It might be a little muddy. Wash it off. Take a bite. It will be the sweetest thing you have ever tasted. It will snap with a loud crunch. It tastes like dessert. Why? Because it has been sitting in the dark, cold earth, concentrating its sugars for months. This is called overwintering. And here, laziness is a virtue. By not doing the work of harvesting now, you are actually making the product better. How often does that happen in life? Usually, procrastination costs us. In the winter garden, procrastination rewards us. For our final vegetable, I could have picked parsnips or Brussels sprouts. But I want to give you something special, something that makes you feel like an insider. Have you ever heard of Claytonia, also known as miner's lettuce? It has a fascinating history. During the gold rush in California, miners were dying of scurvy. They needed vitamin C. They found this juicy, fleshy green plant growing in the damp shade of the mountains. They ate it, and it saved them. Claytonia is bizarre. The leaf is a perfect circle, like a lily pad, and a tiny white flower grows right out of the center of the leaf. It looks delicate, but it is tough as nails. It is one of the few vegetables that will actually grow, not just survive, but make new leaves when the days are short and the light is low. Most winter greens are fibrous. Claytonia is different. It is juicy. It's succulent. It has a crunch like a bean sprout, but it's a leaf. It brings a freshness to winter meals that is usually impossible to find. And here is the best part. It reseeds itself. If you plant it once, it will come back every autumn, just when you need it, and vanish in the spring when you want to plant your tomatoes. It is the perfect roommate. It pays rent in food and moves out before the landlord arrives. So, why are we talking about this on November 29th? Why does this matter? It matters because we live in a world that is increasingly disconnected from reality. We live in 70-degree houses. We drive heated cars to heated stores to buy food that was grown in a heated greenhouse. We are comfortable, but are we alive? There is a specific feeling, a rush of pride that comes from walking out into the cold air, smelling the wood smoke from a neighbor's chimney, and pulling your dinner out of the frozen ground. It makes you feel capable. It makes you feel smart. It reminds you that nature doesn't stop. When you grow these 5 vegetables, you aren't just gardening. You are hacking the system. You are getting the premium product, the sugar-sweetened, nutrient-dense version, for the price of a seed packet. You are turning the dead season into the delicious season. So here is my challenge to you. You don't have to go out and rototill a whole acre. Just choose one. Maybe next year you plant a row of carrots in August for a Christmas harvest. Maybe you order a packet of Mache seeds right now and sprinkle them in a pot on your porch. Maybe you just go to the farmer's market this weekend and look specifically for frost-sweetened kale just to taste the difference. But don't let this winter pass by thinking that the garden is closed. The garden is never closed. It's just serving a different menu. And believe me, the winter menu is the best one of all. I'm Sam, the garden sage. If you're sitting there with your coffee, looking at your brown garden, I want you to visualize what could be there next year. green spinach, orange carrots, life. If you enjoyed this walk through the winter garden, do me a favor, hit that like button. It tells me you want to hear more about the off-season secrets. And tell me in the comments, have you ever eaten a frost-sweetened carrot? Yes or no? I want to see how many of you know that specific crunch. Stay warm, friends, and remember, the best fertilizer is the gardener's shadow, even in November. See you next time.